Hello, Miss Steele here. So this week we are talking about scale and we're also talking about space. So scale is how big or how small something is, while space is how far away or how close something is to us. So we're going to make some overlapping cities. And for this project, you're going to want a blue piece of paper. This is going to be our background. I'm going to turn it to the side for right now. You want a green piece of paper, and we're going to glue this down so we can have some grass on our city. And then you want glue, scissors, pencil eraser. I'm going to be using markers, and then you want some extra scraps of paper. So I have this black paper so I can add a road in. And then I have a big bucket of scrap paper that I'm going to be using. So if you don't have a lot of colored paper, you could obviously use white paper for this, but I'm going to stick to using the colored paper so we can practice cutting and gluing and all of those fun things. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue this green paper right about in the middle of my blue paper. And I'm going to do this so like the middle of my city can have some grass. And then I'm going to decorate around it with a bunch of buildings. So just using a little bit of glue, not too much because we don't want it to get all gluey. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this black paper and I'm going to put it down here and I'm going to make it actually into a road. So I can have a road at the bottom and I'm going to maybe put a car on my road. And then decorate some houses to put all around here. I could even put a park right here if I wanted to. So it's kind of up to you. So I'm taking a black piece of paper and I'm putting it at the bottom for a road for my city. So I'm going to get this glued down. And then I'm actually going to grab some yellow paper. You could use white paper for this part too, and I'm going to add the little line for my road. So I'm going to grab some yellow paper. I just have some leftover paper that I've been using for different things, and I'm going to cut these so I can make it into more of a road looking design. So I'm going to cut these shorter. I'm trying to cut them about the same length. If they're not perfect, that's okay. And then I'm going to take these and put these down the center right here for my road. So I'm going to get these glued in here, and then we're going to start making some buildings that we can put all around here, maybe some right here, up the sides. We can put some up here if we'd like, because we're talking about scale and we're talking about space. So we're going to be adding in some houses all around here. So I'm going to get this glued down, and then we'll move on to our next step. Alright, so I have my road here, and I think I'm going to add in some buildings, and then I'm going to add some cars right at the end. So how you make your buildings is kind of up to you, but I'm going to show you two different ways you can make two different buildings. So the first way is you could just draw a square like this, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then we'll cut out the rest of the shapes for our building. We'll cut out a triangle for our roof, a rectangle for our, what is that called? Our chimney. So I'm going to set that right there, and that's the start of one of my buildings. Maybe I'll give it a green door, so I could cut out another green rectangle and put it on here for a door, like that. Then maybe we'll have, I'm just grabbing what paper I have, cutting out a triangle, and this could be our roof. We could have our chimney on here, and then maybe some purple windows. So that is just like a normal house that you could make. And then the other one you could make is if you wanted to make a bigger building. And I'm going to get these glued down, and then we'll decide where we want to put it. And then I'll show you another way you can make a building. Since we're talking about space, we're going to put in the back first and then work our way to the front. So the ones that are in the back will be overlapped by the ones that are in the front up here, because Overlapping is when something is on top of something else, like this is on top of the grass, and that's because the grass is behind it. So I'm going to get this glued down, and then I'm going to show you how we can make bigger buildings. And how you design your buildings is kind of up to you. If you want to go back and color them and decorate them more, you definitely can. So I'm going to take my first building that I made, and I'm going to put it right up here towards the top. And then I'm going to keep adding buildings, and I could add them in rows if I wanted to. I could add them around the sides. I could put a park here in the middle if I wanted to. So how you design your city is kind of up to you. I'm going to use a piece of black paper for my next one. And you could cut a long rectangle like this, and then that could be like a business building if you wanted to, like a long, skinny, tall building. And I'm going to add some windows to this building, and I think I'm going to do them in orange. And what else I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper, so then whenever I cut them out, they'll all be kind of even in their size, and I can cut out multiple ones just with a few cuts. So I'm going to cut it down that way, and then I can start cutting it this way, and then I'll get a bunch of windows instead of just a few windows. So I'm going to get these windows glued onto this building, and then we'll get it put down, and we'll keep adding more buildings around here. So I could take these windows and start lining them up like this. And that could be my next building, just like that. So I'm going to get these glued on here, and I'm going to put this right here towards the back. And then I'm going to make a few more buildings, and I'm going to glue them along the edges, maybe here in the middle. I'll get them all made, and then I'll figure out where I want to put them down. Alright, so I have been working away, and I have a few different buildings that I've made. I've made a few of these like business-looking buildings. I made another really tall building, another house, this kind of school building. I made a swing set, and I also made a slide, and then these green fluffs are going to be for bushes that I'm going to add, and then I have these for some clouds. So what I can do now is I can start deciding where I want everything to go. Maybe I could put this one right here in front of here. So I'm just going to start laying stuff down and kind of deciding where I think it would look the best. Maybe have this business right here. Just kind of moving things around, figuring out where I want to put them all. Maybe this one right here and this business kind of in front of this house. I could even add a bush right back here. So I'm going to play around with kind of moving stuff around and deciding where I want it to go, which is kind of the fun part, I think. Maybe have this business like behind here, add a bush right in here. So I'm going to start getting this glued down. I'm going to glue these clouds in the background. And then our last step is going to be making a car, if you want to make a car, and adding it to your city. And then you can also use some markers to add in some different details. And I think I'm going to do that at the end as well. So I'm going to get these glued down. I ended up making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different buildings. I'm going to say you only need to make 5, but if you want to make more, you absolutely can. So I'm going to work on getting this glued, and then we will move on to our last step. Okay, so my overlapping city's almost done. I put the buildings in the back, and then I work my way to the front. I put some bushes in different places. Now all I need is a car. And drawing cars can be kind of hard sometimes, but I'm going to show you what I think is the easiest way. I start out with a flat line, and then I draw one little bump, and then I draw a bigger bump. So one little bump, and then a bigger bump, and then all we're going to need to add are the wheels. So I'm going to get this cut out, and then I'm going to cut out some small circles in this red, and then we'll have a car on our road here at the bottom, just passing through our beautiful little town like this. So I'm going to glue this down, and then I'm going to work on making some tires and then just adding in some small little details here and there. You can add in a lot of details if you want to your city, or you can just leave it as how it is. But I'm going to work on getting some, I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see it, getting some tires on my car and adding my final details, and then we will be good to go. Alright, I went in with my marker and I just added a few little lines here and there, nothing too crazy, but this is my city all complete with my cars and my buildings. I cannot wait to see how these come out and how you guys decide to design your city. I know this is a big project, a lot of cutting and gluing and paper, but I think it comes out looking really, really neat, so I'm excited to see what you guys all make. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your evening, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Bye!